KLAUS finished top 200 in Legends League last season, but that's not the crazy thing. The crazy thing is he did this whilst using the Snake Bracelet and the Troop Launcher. The hero equipment combination KLAUS is using for this Root Rider spam attack strategy, it got my interest peaked. Let's start off with the Royal Champion, who has the Rocket Spear, but KLAUS isn't using the Rocket Spear immediately. In fact, every attack he's going to save the Rocket Spear for during the Root Rider spam. So at the moment, he's got 5 invis with the Electro Boots and with the Fox to get as much value as possible. Obviously, the Rocket Spear does have really nice passive stats as well, so still going to get a lot of value out of this opener, but isn't going for a crazy funnel like you see some of the time with the Root Rider spam attacks that have the Royal Champion charge at the start. The Warden, expected hero equipment. The Queen, expected hero equipment. But the King here, the Snake Bracelet. I know KLAUS is creative, but this was something else, because the Snake Bracelet, yeah, it's very weak. You all know that. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But let's see if KLAUS has figured out a way to make the Snake Bracelet effective. Because, fun fact, he's going to funnel with the King and the Queen in this attack strategy. The only troops going through in the center are 4 Root Riders, 4 Healers, 5 Valks, the Apprentice Warden and Regular Warden, and obviously the Royal Champion, which feels super light to go through the center of the base, but he's going to make it work. Now, let's watch the Snake Bracelet here. I mean, these snakes get one-shotted by just about everything. They are useless, and even when they're being tanked for, they're not doing that much damage either. Now, I want to focus on the Troop Launcher here, because this here is the biggest weakness of the Troop Launcher for me. So one, look at this. The Troop Launcher shoots to where the most troops are, and KLAUS here is setting an epic funnel. He wants the Yetis in the center of the base, but the Troop Launcher decides otherwise. But look at this, right? This is one of the Yetis here that's been shot from the Troop Launcher. There's the second. When they're shot, they're obviously not moving in the air, in the sense that where the King is when the Yeti is shot is where the Yeti will land. But by the time the Yeti lands, the King's already further ahead. So you're going to see the 3 Yetis that get shot. The third one does go into the core of the base here. They're going to do next to no tanking. And we need them to do the tanking, right? But they're not doing anything. In fact, those 2 try to walk on the outside of the base because they weren't far enough in to not want to walk out of it. This Yeti in the center of the base isn't doing anything. So whilst I really want the Troop Launcher to be strong, it's a cool concept. If it acted like the Scatter Shot, I feel like it would be better. For instance, those who don't know, the Scatter Shot, even if your troop is a moving target, it will hit it. Even if your troop goes out of range of the Scatter, as long as it targets your troop when it's in range, it will hit it. So if the Troop Launcher troops landed where your troop is, the troop it targeted is, at that point in time, I think it would be much better. You see another weakness here of the Troop Launcher is it takes out none of the buildings nearby it. Until that happens though, I don't see it being that good, because I don't need troops landing behind my main push. I need it at the front. Another diamond base here, and let's see how much value KLAUS can get even without using the Haste Vial or the Rocket Spear at the start of this Royal Champion charge. So Royal Champion goes invisible again, goes up, and look, invis beautifully here, but you're going to see he actually will force the Royal Champion into the center of the base. So the Royal Champion goes up here, and this obviously isn't ideal. It's a perfectly placed Tesla here from the Defender to make the Royal Champion jump the wall, but KLAUS uses that extra invis spell. Remember, he's got 5 of them, which is a lot, and that allows him to use one for the funnel here. Gets rid of that multi. Would have been cool if the Royal Champion stayed alive 1 more second. She would have killed the witches with her, what's his name, the Electro Boots ability. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way. Thankfully, with this army, not only has he got a poison spell, but he's got plenty of Valks to help out. So we've set the funnel here. He is going to come in from the top left-hand side. I mean, you could have your pick with this, though. Doesn't really matter. That minion prince, what a pain in the butt, getting rid of the Valk. Yet again, using the King and the Queen to funnel. I cannot believe the Snake Bracelet is being used here. Ice Golem tanks beautifully, and now we're coming in. And I want to show you here, I know the Root Rider is the main part of this attack, but we got to have a look at the Snake Bracelet here. Also, you can see he uses the Siege Barracks this time instead. You're going to see these snakes. I mean, the King doesn't seem like he's taking down defenses that quickly, even though there's like 5 snakes there, because the snakes just don't do much damage. They get completely mauled And look at this. The Ricochet Cannon has now locked onto the King. Look at how little damage these snakes are doing, right? They are doing nothing. The King ability goes off and then he goes down. Because the Snake Bracelet doesn't have any health on recovery, right? Neither does the Spiky Ball. Obviously, the Spiky Ball is actually a useful equipment, so it doesn't rely on that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Tell me what I'm not seeing, guys. Like, do you think the snakes did anything there? I thought the idea was the snakes were meant to tank, and I get if you give them too many hit points, maybe it'll be broken. But there's so much damage on the base at Town Hall 17, right? Like, the fact that Klaus's King can't walk safely around the base without getting completely wrecked, I think is just not ideal at all. I just think it says everything you need to know about this hero equipment. Hopefully, if you're free to play, you didn't waste too many of your starry ore on it. But it's cool to see KLAUS use it, right? That's the point of this, to show you that you can get 3 stars with it. You just need to be really good at every other part of the attack, because the Snake Bracelet will not make up for your mistakes. Now, unfortunately, that was all the replays KLAUS shared with us where he was using Root Rider spam with the Snake Bracelet. I would love to show more, but unfortunately, yeah, I can't control what KLAUS does. But he did share 2 other replays that we're going to have a look at right now, where he's doing the Royal Champion Charge Mash Dragons, but you'll see here, he does have a slightly different army comp to Stars. Stars obviously brings, it's 11 invis, or no, 12 invis and 1 rage, whereas KLAUS is only bringing 9 invis, and then he's got 2 rages and a freeze. So let's see where he goes different to Stars in this army comp. Now, the Fox has gone down. We're still made a solid way through the base here, trying to pull the defensive CC out of the way. Notice how he's making the defensive CC as invisible as possible to make sure the Royal Champion doesn't chase after it. There we use the Haste Vial ability, and he's not using the Rage with the Haste Vial. That's something that we see Stars do a lot of. If you want to see Stars attacks, by the way, we covered his attacks recently on the channel. He finished rank 3 and rank 5 in the world. That will be pinned at the end of the video. Yeah, definitely worth seeing the way Stars takes down bases, especially if he finishes that high up in Legends League. KLAUS has an Inferno Drag with this army, and he just uses it to deal with the defensive Ice Golems. So much better at dealing with the defensive Ice Golems than like a Valk. I know Stars generally has the Valk in the army for that. There goes KLAUS's Giant Arrow ability. Misses the back end air defense, but we all know that's not going to matter. And finally, we see some spells used with the dragons. I'm so used to the dragons having 0 spells, but KLAUS has 2 rage spells and a freeze. And I think we forget, yeah, obviously, you know, you can't just spam dragons with no entry on a base anymore, but dragons still are relatively strong, particularly, you know, if you give them some spell support. They're running across the base here, Queen on the top side, and you'll notice he has not deployed the Siege Barracks yet, because it's KLAUS. Why would KLAUS ever need a Siege Barracks? Dragons rolling over the base here. I mean, I don't know about you guys, I love the Clash Anytime update, but it is annoying some of the time not being able to request CCs super quickly. So anytime I can swag my CC, I do it. I can't be bothered requesting every attack, so yeah, if I can swag it like KLAUS, I do it. Some of the time it costs me triples. Does it cost KLAUS a triple though? Absolutely not. There's like 8 dragons left up on the base, crushing triple. Final attack of this video, we got the Royal Champion Charge coming in on the top side of the base, and look at how early the Haste Vial ability comes out, and yet again, even though she's beating the Town Hall, KLAUS refuses to use the Rage spell, and I think that kind of confirms it for me. KLAUS, yeah, just has no interest in using anything but the invis spells with the Royal Champion Charge, and I think it's so cool to see different ways that people use this attack strategy. Yes, obviously, it's a bit of a boring attack strategy some of the time, given how broken it is, but it's nice to know that there is multiple ways you can do it. Seeing the 9 invis approach here, is KLAUS going to get, like, the most insane value in the world with these charges? Nowhere near as much as you see from Stars, but it can definitely be more reliable because you're giving the dragons something. I was about to say something to live for, but you're giving the dragons something to work for, because some of the time the dragons with no spells, particularly if you accidentally go into a sweeper, or if there's just like a single Inferno on the flank burning you up, there's nothing you can do but sit and watch them die. But for KLAUS, not an issue here. Royal Champion comes out. She's still cleared a lot of base. Keep in mind, we now still have 2 Rages and a Freeze left. And yeah, this base is in so much trouble. Nice giant arrow ability. I believe it hits the last sweeper on the base. Then we come in with the warden. It's also nice because when you've got no spells on the dragons, I know Stars uses the healing tome because the healing tome is really nice, but I find some of the time that makes the attack strategy super slow. Time is nowhere near as much a problem with this. Your Royal Champion charge isn't going for as long, and your dragons can go much more quickly. So keep that in mind. If you genuinely though, if you struggle with time in this attack strategy, then maybe think about bringing this. Now, this was not what I was expecting. KLAUS brings the Minion Prince on the bottom side of the base. He decides he doesn't need all the dragons in the core. He's already got a rage spell for them anyway. We're going to use the Minion Prince with the Siege Barracks. Not often a combination you see, but look at it. It cleared out the entire bottom section of the base here. Sick attack from KLAUS. You got 2 attack strategies from KLAUS in this video, so you can think of it as a positive. Obviously, the clickbait probably is going to be on the troop launcher and the snake bracelet versus, you know, the Royal Champion charge that's very tried and tested. Worth noting, KLAUS does not use the Sneezy with this attack, unlike Stars, who did use the Sneezy. And if you want to see Stars finish rank 3 and rank 5 in Legends League, we'll link that on the left.